RealAg Shops is brought to you by Princess Auto. RealAg Shops is where we pull wrenches, keep the farm going, and get our hands a little dirty. Welcome to this week's tour.
Hey guys, welcome to Smith Family Seeds. Come on in. Hey, I'm Walter Smith. Welcome to Smith Family Seeds shop, part of RealAg's shop tour series. Farm here in RM of Louise, just outside of Pilot Mound, Manitoba. For the last 10 years, we grow wheat, barley, oats, soybeans, canola, peas, flax, and sometimes some edibles. And we clean a lot of that and sell it for seed. This is a new shop. We started in the spring of 2022, which was a late spring. It wasn't ideal, but we were able to excavate an area for the shop and get the cement poured. And then, after the cement was poured, me and the guys here started throwing up walls the first week of August. And eventually by about November, we were ready to move in. So just gonna give you a quick tour of what it looks like today. All right, so over here, we got GPS screens and bubbles. Computers coming next week for us to put here, and this will be where we update all our John Deere stuff to keep everything current. Office desk areas for maintenance and USBs, and of course we got filing cabinets here for keeping track of maintenance records. Cheap desk, when you're building a shop, you want to save as many expenses as you can. So I think this whole desk apparatus was around $250 with the filing cabinet. So yeah, we're definitely not breaking the bank on this project. The floor, it's just painted cement. It's nothing serious. Heated floor in the whole shop, and a little space heater just to keep it a little warmer. This part of the shop we actually just finished 2 weeks ago. I still need to add a fridge and stuff, but we've got a little lunch area here with a coffee maker, microwave, water cooler. As you come over this way, we have a freezer, future bathroom, and then the stairs over there, they lead up to our parts room upstairs, where we keep all of our parts for all our old equipment we keep around here. Yeah, so up here we have some shelves. Over there we've got some wood shelves that we've built. It's a nice evening project for my kids and I. So just kind of built these in the last 2 weeks. So we're just trying to get them organized into different categories, where this is our air seeder shelf, this is our combine shelf, and this is our truck shelf, and so on and so forth. And then, we got some electrical and stuff over there, but it really is, it's a lot bigger than anything I ever dreamed I would have. If you'd have told me I'd have this much space just to store parts 5 years ago, I would have been very jealous. But it's really helped us consolidate. We used to have, 3 sheds and 2 shops in a bunch of different yards, and you never knew where to look for something. And now if you need something, it's going to be in this room. And that's really saved a lot of time and miles and energy just trying to locate stuff when you have something that needs fixing. So overall, this is probably one of my favorite rooms, just because we got to consolidate all that into one place. But we do have a roll-up door that's going to go here to keep the noise and the dust out eventually. But as you can see, you go right out from the parts room and you're into the shop, which we're still in construction mode. But you can basically go right from the parts room out into the main shop area. We just really like it because instead of running through the office all the time for parts, we have the stairs over here. So if you're working on something, it's really handy and convenient. And then of course, some extra storage up here for brass fittings and whatnot, which when you're dealing with semis, you always need something brass to fix things up. The railing is going to be coming on here to make it safer. We'll probably have a drop down spot. We found it very nice to work on unload augers on combines up here when you can work at waist level versus working off a ladder or something like that. It's quite a bit safer. But, that's kind of our parts area. So now this is the where most of the work happens in the shop. So we have a 2-stage compressor. It's 3-phase, 15 horsepower motor. plumbed into aluminum. This is a temporary spot. We basically needed an air compressor one day and we just plopped it down here and away we went. It's eventually going to go up there probably in the next 2 weeks to get it off the floor. And then by middle or end of next summer, we're gonna have a separate building outside to keep the noise out of here. One thing we did was we used this aluminum pipe for all our air systems in the shop, and we really like it. It's all clipped together, push in, and it's been really flawless. You can use PEX or something like that too, but PEX over time, you know, it might degrade and blow up, and we just kind of want to make sure everyone's okay. And then you can see here, this is our truss core, and you would find stuff like this in like a pig barn or something, typically, but some shops are starting to do it. So what we did was we put 3/4 inch plywood behind here so that anywhere you want to, you can still put a screw in and hang something if you want to. But we really like the smooth finish that we can put stuff like this pipe right up against the wall without having a gap, and toolboxes up against the wall. Yeah, just little things a guy can do to make life easier. And then of course, air is always nice. So we do have 6 fans that we picked up from Princess Auto for a couple $100 a fan. I think they're 7 or 8 foot fans, and lots of LED lights. At night, you almost can't tell it's nighttime in here. It's so bright. And again, part of that's from the truss core just reflecting so nicely. Another thing, if you look up at the ceiling, you'll notice it's perforated tin, and the perforated tin does a really good job of deadening the sound. And so we found, well, when we were blowing insulation in the roof, before the insulation got there, I could just talk freely with the guy in the basement here, or on the ground level, as I was in the roof on the hose, because all the sound goes right up through that perforated like nothing. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it's high enough that we don't have an issue with humidity and stuff getting in there, but so far so good. We really like what that's added to the shop. Boilers, floor heat in the shop here. So we have 2 boilers. I don't even know how big they are, to be honest with you. It was a while ago, but they're 3-phase as well. I think they're 30 kilowatt or something like that. They have no problem keeping up at all. And with the 3-phase power, of course, I think we're in that 4.5 to 5 cents a kilowatt hour to heat the floor, which is, we're having a tough time justifying any other heating source right now at those levels. So yeah, in here, of course, underneath the mezzanine, we're working at getting lights installed. Last week, we had to do what every farmer does when they're setting up a new shop. We went out to Princess Auto, bought a new bench grinder, bought a new drill press, and one of my guys had his here for the first 3 or 4 months, but he kind of said he wanted it back in his shop. So I said, fair enough, I'll go to Princess Auto. So yeah, these are just a week old. So I don't know, I haven't even actually used them yet. Soon. But yeah, here's kind of our bench area, installing lights, of course, to get it well lit. It's a work in progress. That's actually what one of the guys is working on this morning. But yeah, lots of kind of a set aside tool area so that we don't have a bunch of tools out in the shop. And then, yeah, bolt bins and more storage and bench stuff for tools. And then when we get over here, this is kind of our mobile workstation. So we will bring this to throw a bunch of tools on and then go and take it where we're working. And this is kind of what we work off of. So yeah. And then as you go over here, this is our main door. This door is 19 feet high, 53 feet wide. It's a 30-foot door and a 22-foot door with a 1-foot removable post in the middle. And as you can see here, the light this provides is just amazing. So I'll just do a quick, here's with the lights off and here's with the lights on. And you can tell a little bit, but it's pretty amazing how everyone loves working in natural light all winter. I don't know, some guys, they say you get a little bit depressed in the winter because you don't have a lot of sunlight. Around here, we've got no shortage. So yeah, you can see not all this equipment is mine. This is my sprayer, but we have some neighbors that don't have a shop to work on stuff in the winter. And so we were letting our neighbors use our shop, and then a tech from our local dealership comes and works on their equipment in our shop so that they can get stuff done over the winter. So yeah, if you come this way, we get some more stuff that we have in the shop. Always stuff in the shop. Yeah, so this is kind of our oil spot. We kind of wanted to keep it separate from the rest of the shop, away from the tools and stuff. We have used oil with one of those super taupe tops. I'm not sure where they get them from, but it works great for keeping oil pails and stuff on. Engine oil and hydraulic oil in bulk, and then pallet shelving, just to store everything that you don't want kicking around on the floor of the shop, and yet you don't want it to freeze or be out in the elements. And so yeah, it's been really nice to have heated storage that isn't taking up too much of a footroom in the shop. I think it's only 32 inches wide or something like that. So yeah. No, and then as we go this way, you get further into the shop. Coming from a 2,400 square foot shop, sometimes I still just get a little excited about how big this is, how things fit that never used to fit in the old shop. So yeah, this is kind of the wash bay part of the shop, I guess you'd call it. So we have an air exchange dehumidifier in here. We have this curtain, and so what this does is this makes it so we have a kind of a standalone 40 by 100 foot wash bay. What I like about the curtain is when we don't want it, we just push it out of the way and it's not that big of a deal. If we're thawing off equipment or you want to bring in something big from the main part of the shop into the wash bay, you just push it open and you're good to go. But when you have humidity or stuff like that, because it's a wood building, it's nice square corners, you can just seal it off and it pulls really easy. So yeah, in the wash bay here, what we've done is we have U-drains in the floor that are 60 feet long. And so yeah, they're 60 feet long, everything is tapered. So we kind of have two parking bays. So if you park a semi or something and it's melting off, you have no water outside of the semi. It all stays in the semi tires and it's contained to the middle. Is it perfect? I mean, there's always something you'd like to change. Probably some removable grates for cleaning it out would be nicer, but we're a year in. We haven't really had to clean it. We're just doing a cleaning today because we're looking for stuff to do. And yeah, nice big pits. I haven't looked in here since they were built, but you can see here that pipe there comes from, we have 3 or 4 other floor drains in the rest of the shop, and it all comes into this one, and then it once this one's full, it goes into the other one, and then it just pumps out on the north side of the shop. And then over in the corner, you can see our second boiler, and that boiler just heats this area. So if we're doing a lot of washing or something and you want to heat up the floor to get the floor drier quicker, you can turn up the temperature a couple degrees and it'll just keep your floor a little bit drier in the short term. So, and of course, yeah, we have a second service for power over here. So yeah, this is a separate 200 amp service. Total in this shop, we have a 200 amp 600 volt service, and we have 2 200 amp single phase services. And so this service someday, if we build a shed on the far side of the yard, we'll be able just to plumb out from this and do another 100 amp service in a machine shed in the future someday without having to tear up the whole yard again. Yeah, so one of the things we really like about shops, at least in my experience, is we like a south facing door. You can see it's -5 or 6 degrees and the snow is melting. And so you often have the snow completely gone probably a month before the snow in the yard is gone in front of the shop, just from the heat from the door. Another thing we did is we built up this shop probably about 4 feet from the surrounding area. And so you can tell, like, I mean, it's a bit more sloped than it maybe should be, but right now it's probably 3 feet of drop from the shop to me, and I'm only 100 and something feet away. And so yeah, we want water flowing away from the shop, and I don't want my kids to tell me when I'm 65 years old that how come you built the shop in a hole in the yard and all the water runs towards the shop. So we did our best to make sure that the next generation can't complain too much about their dad's decisions. And then the other thing we like is we wanted a lot of room around the shop for maneuvering and parking equipment. So I think just this little site that just has the shop in it is around that 5 acres. which sounds huge, but by the time you start parking equipment and yeah, it can get tight in a hurry. And you just don't want guys putting stuff in and out of the shop and hitting other equipment, and anything you can do to reduce the risk to employees and equipment is a benefit on our farm anyways. And we were spoiled. We started with a field 10 years ago when we started here. So I planted all these trees and planned this shop out when I started this yard 10 years ago. So it's not something that we just decided on a whim. There was quite a bit of foresight and planning. Is the shop as big as I wanted it to? Well, of course it's not as big as I wanted it to be, but like every other farmer, we have a budget and we got to stick within our budget. I mean, ideally 100 by 140 was what I was hoping to put here, but thank you, COVID and everything else, the prices were just a little higher than we wanted. So we settled with an 80 by 120, and then we have some office space and a little jut out in the wash bay to make it a little bit bigger, just to make things more convenient for us. Thanks for coming out and taking a tour of the shop, and all the best if you're planning on building your own shop. It's a very exciting time for your family and your farm, I'm sure. Thank you so much.